up, or will she look for some offense straight ahead from Jay?
So as we switch from singles competition to now mixed doubles competition, we also switch from best of 3 to best of 5. Double side outs, games to 11.
Nice hands there from Jay Devilliers.
Christian Alshon now with the serve. You gotta have the strategy change, and man, is it a doozy of a one. Right now, everyone locked into mixed doubles. Christian Alshon, Jay Devilliers, they're gonna look to be the aggressors here in this matchup. Trying to give plenty of space.
Yeah, nice offense from Christian Alshon, seeing his opponent off the kitchen line and just starting the fire with not an incredibly powerful attack, but once you get into that firefight, you're up, they're back, good for you.
She didn't even have to duck to get out of the way.
And a great job from Jones and Devilliers of finally making a ball bounce in front of the tweener king Christian Alshon. He was really in control of the kitchen line, but Jones and Devilliers able to get forward nicely later in the point. And a pretty smooth first round for Allyce Jones and Jay Devilliers, taking on Simone Jargin and Eric Onsens. 6-2, 11, or 11-6, 11-2, 11-2.
There's the long arm of Christian Alshon, just 23 years of age. He's one of the shining stars of the 2023 season in terms of the amount of growth we've seen in his game.
Yes, absolutely true, Cam. He has all the tools.
Little head-to-head battle between the fellas, and that's so fun. Jay Devilliers has a new paddle in his hand. We saw it at Major League Pickleball. He is playing some really good pickleball right now.
And I have played, I don't know, hundreds of hours of pickleball rec and tournament with Jay Devilliers, even though it has been about a year and a half since I've been on the tournament scene. I got on court with him before the tournament. You're exactly right, Cam. Different shots and different life coming off of that new Vulcan paddle. It's nice to see him making a bit of a leap as a veteran of the game.
Allyce tries to speed up Christian Alshon, so athletic and quick.
Yeah, and then often you have to do that in mixed doubles as the female go behind that dominant male player, but Christian Alshon staying home nicely, and a great backhand from him.
I mean, that's Allyce Jones' bread and butter right there. The soft touch, the dinks, a rare miss from her. Score remains 2-1. Got a little Ernie for you, Jay Devilliers.
Yeah, the Flying Frenchman. I talked about the ease of round one for Allyce and Jay. Very much the opposite for their opponents here.
And this is what we saw from Jay Devilliers, just able to dictate terms, great control off his paddle.
Yes, absolutely right. And 11-8 in the fifth for Alshon and Tyra Black against Callan Dawson and Rohrabacher in round one.
Called out of bounds off the net for Allyce Jones, turns into a second serve. I mean, that's a heck of a speed up from Jay Devilliers.
Yeah, was that a missed swipe at the ball, or was he actually letting that go, Cam? Tell me.
We'll never know, Adam. We'll never know.
And points hard to come by early on. Quite a few side outs, just showing how big of an advantage you have as the returning team in pro pickleball.
Might have just left a mark in one of those standards at the back of the court.
I believe they called it out.
Catching Christian Alshon on that extended one-handed backhand.
Yeah, he kind of threw his hands up like, how the heck did I miss that one?
Looking for the ATP, the crossover step, not far enough.
Yeah, I think he was trying to come around the outside of the ball. He prefers that slice backhand ATP.
Little I go, you go, no one goes.
Yeah, the dreaded pump fake happens so frequently in mixed doubles. Guys have to be aggressive in the middle. A lot of pressure on their female partners when they can't get that ball, though.
Heads up in the crowd. With the fans so close here on Championship Court, you better have your head on a swivel.
Pretty dang good reflexes from the first row there, I'll tell you what.
She's a 5-0.
Yeah.
There are different ways to be aggressive in the game of pickleball, and specifically in mixed doubles. One of those looks is from Hurricane Tyra Black in terms of how she is dinking cross-court. Pay attention to how many times the ball bounces versus her volleying the ball back cross-court. What a save, Allyce Jones.
That's what she does, Cam.
They don't call her Mighty Mouse for nothing. Big swing from Jay Devilliers.
And a great job, too, because he loves to hit that ball cross-court. So he knowing the opponents, he has Alshon cross from him. He changes his spot and goes straight ahead at Tyra. Nice job from Jay.
We've got two premier level athletes in regards to these two gentlemen. Jay Devilliers, 28 years old, stands at 6'3", played tennis at Wichita State University, whereas Christian Alshon went off to the University of Chicago. Hurricane Tyra Black just sitting on that forehand.
Yes, a bit of a mini pancake. And what I mean by that is she kind of flattens out her grip and protects her right shoulder very well.
What a reach. Everyone talks about that first and explosive lateral step of Christian Alshon. That was a perfect example.
And he can protect the left foot of Tyra Black, as that's where Jay was looking to put that soft shot. But the tweener king there.
When you come to think of it, there are quite a few kings of the court in the world of pickleball. We got the Ernie King, the tweener king, and just the king himself. That's Ben Johns. What a bummer for Hurricane Tyra Black and Christian Alshon. She just took over.
That's right, Christian, get out of there, man. What are you doing? Let her do her thing. But I mean, 70% of the way across the court with the two-handed backhand. You don't see that too frequently in mixed. That is a slight advantage for Allyce Jones in that completely neutral cross-court dink rally. Hurricane Tyra trying to go back behind Jay, but makes the error.
Every once in a while, Allyce Jones will throw in one of these drives as well, kind of catch you off guard. That time just a little long.
I call that the Callan Dawson. He does it so infrequently. When he does do it, you're like, oh my goodness, and it often catches you off guard.
The dive. She always leaves skin on the court. Allyce Jones with an epic dig.
Falling is a skill. Tell me about that, volleyball player.
I mean, she was a defensive specialist on the volleyball court, and she's a defensive specialist on the pickleball court. A really nice play from Jay Devilliers and Allyce Jones. You know, it's so funny. I played volleyball for over 20 years. And I will tell you, even now, I would never consider doing what Allyce Jones does. That is also just Allyce Jones. Quick hands, that's what we love when we get to the doubles competitions. The highlight reels start to mount up.
And they did a nice job of neutralizing the early offense, but just too much Tyra Black and Christian Alshon with their foot on the gas pedal.
A crumbling play for Hurricane Tyra Black, and she's also one to know to go completely all out on any given rally. Stands up quickly, good to see.
I mean, the quality of those two drop shots, no one quicker than Hurricane Tyra. So great droppers from Jay Devilliers early in this match. And there's that hybrid roll, as you can see from Hurricane Tyra, balancing her soft dinking and her speed up ability.
Hurricane Tyra just 22 years old. They'll unwind the stack here. And immediately Jay Devilliers takes advantage with the drive.
And you can see how big of a deal it is in mixed doubles. I said how good of a mover Hurricane Tyra is, but she cannot get to the kitchen line after the return. Jay Devilliers making her pay.
No panic on the side of Jones and Devilliers.
Cam, you think it would be fun to play a tournament with Allyce Jones? My goodness, some of these celebrations, how positive she is. She's making me want to come out of retirement if she'll have me for one tournament. My goodness.
The real highlight there was the celebration, no doubt. Takes another swing at the ball, and I believe a timeout immediately taken from Christian Alshon and Hurricane Tyra Black. 2 points is enough for them to say, we do not want this game won. Country Club, Jay Devilliers, Allyce Jones, Hurricane Tyra Black, and Christian Alshon in the round of 16.
There's just no possible way after that slow drop that the next shot can be a Hurricane Tyra backhand. That is not an option. She either needs to step to her left to hit a forehand, or Alshon needs to come over and take that ball.
It's a game point for the 9 seed. put the ball away, double overhead, but some better defense on the opposition.
I just love the max effort. I mean, she is using the tips of her toes all the way to her paddle. Ah, great shot by Christian, though.
Replay on the right side of your screen. A little overextended, and Alshon knows it.
Yeah, and showing some real frustration, exclaiming, make it, as that exact same pattern has unfolded throughout game one, I believe 3 times.
Tries to find the Ernie, and it's no good.
You can't earn it down as soft, can you? I've said it a million times, and I'll keep saying it.
Christian Alshon takes a deep breath, another game point. Tried to find just an extra amount of offense on the side of Alshon in black, but it's a little too late.
These fellas to be able to cover and protect their partner when they don't get the deep return that they're looking for. So it is such a big factor in gender doubles, and especially in mixed doubles. We'll have to monitor this throughout.
They were relatively even at about that 7-point mark until they got stuck unwinding the stack, and it was drive after drive after drive from Jay Devilliers that really had the separation in game one. Jay Devilliers on his backhand side still somehow manages a forehand.
The only person happier than Jay is Allyce. Let's be clear. Such a great celebration again. And Jay Devilliers playing an incredible alpha mixed right now. He is putting more pressure than Christian Alshon, not only with his shot selection, but his court positioning. Can Alshon find more offense in the middle, or possibly Hurricane Tyra pick some spots to attack Jay straight in front of her?
And finds Christian Alshon yet again, and this is where it gets interesting. You have Christian Alshon back on that right side, Hurricane Tyra Black on the left side. This is what you call unwinding the stack. The advantageous position for Hurricane is on that right side, and you can see why the drive becomes challenging. You have to shift back over.
And a nice job by Jay going back behind Alshon. Allyce Jones finding the baseline on that forehand drive. Christian Alshon pulling the paddle back, and we've seen this so much throughout the day. Players thinking the ball is going to go long, and it does not.
Jay Devilliers yet again asserting himself in the middle of the court. So fun to watch these pros go to work, their court coverage and their ability to make a shot after shot after shot. I mean, stacking system of Christian Alshon and his partner, Hurricane Tyra Black. We'll dig into it some more after this point. I mean, if you're watching as an amateur, would you be stacking?
Absolutely. So the key for stacking is, especially, it works in gender doubles as well, but especially in mixed doubles, when you have a dominant right-hander who can play on the left side. That allows that player to be much more of a force in the middle. You just can't be as offensive-minded from the right side of the court with your backhand in the middle. So I think pro level, amateur level, all the way down to 3-0, you can get a lot of benefit for lining your team up in the proper position and maximizing your offensive tools.
Speaking of maximizing, there's a good serve from Christian Alshon. Now they do not have to unwind, obviously, on the serve as well. Hurricane Tyra Black looking for the two-hand backhand.
I mean, I wouldn't call them rattled right now, but there is a clear difference in energy from the near end and the far end of the court. Allyce Jones and Jay Devilliers.
Christian Alshon reaching in. One of the nice things about being up at the kitchen line, utilizing that volley, it takes away time from your opponent. A little dinner in the afternoon. A dink winner from Christian Alshon.
A perfect spot, knowing Jay was looking to be aggressive. And I talked about anticipation being the same as foot speed. Well, taking time away is no different than hitting the ball hard. Exactly the same thing.
Swing and just a tip. Jay Devilliers can't find the overhead. One of the best points, and this crowd is loving it.
A 2 out of 3 on the drop volleys. And if anyone can get the drop volley, it's Hurricane Tyra. Great court coverage from her.
I love it. They always try and lob the little one.
Oh, yeah. I've been lobbed about, I don't know, 10,000 times in my career. And Allyce Jones from well off the kitchen line, forcing the error from Christian Alshon. Nice power.
Jay Devilliers and Allyce Jones, but hats off to Christian Alshon. He's still leaving the rubber from the soles of his shoes all over the court.
Just another standard point, Cam. Nothing to see here. My goodness, these players are playing.
Utilizing their own up-tempo speed. Christian Alshon coming pretty aggressively to the right side of the court in front of Hurricane Tyra Black. Can you find on the side of Alshon and Black? Wow, some spectacular defense.
I need a doctor in here to check Jay Devilliers' rotator cuff. My goodness, he's got to put so many powerful shots in play to win 1 point.
The man needs a physio, but how about that? Splitting the difference, Christian Alshon.
Yeah, great hold. Really freezing Jay Devilliers, thinking that Christian Alshon was going to put that ball on his back shoulder, but he found a great gap in the middle of the court. That's the offense that Alshon and Black need in this match.
You talked about it. He needed to get more assertive, play bigger, and right now he is.
And full protection there. off of the unwinding of the stack, as Christian Alshon knows Hurricane Tyra a little late getting there. He protects her, helps her. That is complimentary pickleball.
Why the cross-court ding paddle between the fellas? Oftentimes in mixed doubles, you see it from the right side of the court to the right side of the court.
I think it's just the incredibly aggressive court positioning of Jay Devilliers, trying to put the ball back behind him without allowing him to create offense. Just keep him out of the middle. He is too much of a force right now. Yeah, and it's certainly not a pattern I expect to see a lot, but it makes sense in this specific situation to me for it to happen occasionally.
Came Tyra Black. He's now serving from the right side.
Jay Devilliers, I think, needs to be careful with the drop volleys. Worked great in game one, but Hurricane Tyra has a beat on it. And let's remember, if the drop volley is not successful, you invite your opponents forward.
Cutting that ball wide of the court, make it 9-6. Again, this is the biggest tournament of the year. So much to play for in terms of prestige alone. All these athletes want this victory. They're going to play lights out to be able to get there. Christian Alshon putting on a show, 10-6.
Yeah, great close-in after the drop to the backside of Jay Devilliers. Did not think he was going to be able to get that out of the air.
There's the Tweener King.
So do we know if Christian Alshon gave himself that title, or is so self-proclaimed or not?
I think probably. Little matrix move for Jay to get out of the way. For Jones and Devilliers to close this gap, what do they have to do?
Yeah, and Christian has gotten slightly more aggressive, but I think the big thing for them in game two is they've just handled the barrage of Jay Devilliers better from a defensive perspective. Yeah, so on the far end with Jay and Allyce, it is kind of a tough spot because it was working so well.
Game point now for Alshon and Black. Jay Devilliers with a sharper angle.
Yeah, so do you just keep being offensive now that they've made a slight adjustment, or do you tweak it yourself? It is a bit of a decision point for the team on the far end.
Well, there's going to be a few decisions needed as we are going to the third game now. Again, best 3 of 5 as we are tied up at 1 apiece.
Gritty, but we'll see.
Welcome into the desk. Cameron Blackwood, Matt Manassi here at our State Farm desk. Matt, like you said, they're testing the paddle there. How much of a difference does that make? Does it make a difference coming indoors versus outside?
For sure. And, you know, Ben Johns notoriously does not like playing inside. It says it messes with his eyes a little bit. Annalee the same. So just visually going inside is a huge difference. Add the new spin from this gearbox paddle. But give it to Chris Hayworth. He has a great two-handed backhand. Came from tennis. Incredible pedigree there. So he is no slouch by any means. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he does tomorrow.
And the Johnson siblings, J.W. Johnson, Georgia Johnson, taking both wins, continuing to move on in singles. We don't see them in the draw every single week, but we're seeing him here playing well.
Yeah, both impressive. Georgia, very physical match against Simone Jargin, the GOAT of our sport. I thought she should have come in a little bit earlier in the match, made it more of a track race out there. And then JW against Quang Duong. Quang Duong had a great match yesterday and just didn't have enough against a powerful J-Dub. Has those short backswings on that forehand, was just too good.
Well, the Johnson siblings continue on in singles, but let's take you back here to center court where we will finish out the mixed doubles match with Alshon and Black and Jones and Devilliers. Cameron Irwin.
Thanks, Cameron Blackwood and Matt Manassi, as we start game 3 in this best of 5, again in doubles competition. Far side of your screen, Christian Alshon and Hurricane Tyra Black. Near side, Allyce Jones, Jay Devilliers. And they mentioned Annalie Waters and Ben Johns. Well, they'll actually be in a mixed doubles competition right here on our pickleball.com championship court at the conclusion of this match. I'm Cameron Irwin, Adam Stone sitting right next to me.
Yeah, that's me. Loose error there from Christian Alshon on the return as we join action early in game 3.
Allyce Jones, you'll see this oftentimes in mixed doubles. The right-sider, or we'll call it the beta in this situation, slightly off the kitchen line. After this point, explain why typically you kind of have those roles and also taking that step off the kitchen line. How does that serve you?
Yeah, and we talked about the stacking earlier to allow the male player right-handed to be aggressive in the middle from the left side. So having that beta back off the line a bit allows him to have free reign to put maximum pressure on his opponents.
Well, that time she stepped up right to the kitchen.
Yeah, that's right. She didn't need Jay for that last one. It does create a bit of a court positioning issue, but Allyce Jones especially very comfortable a couple feet off the kitchen with the soft stuff.
Chases that to the baseline, tries to turn with a windup, but instead it's at the top of the net.
Lob's not going out today. I see several of these not being able to be struck out of the air. I'm almost certain it's going to go long. They have not been, though.
Out of bounds, so we should touch on it again because the rainy conditions outdoors, all pro play has been moved indoors, and it has changed the style at which these pros can play. We really saw it come to life in the game of singles, but we haven't talked about it. In mixed doubles, how does the ball change to the Franklin and as well as being indoors affect this game with 20 degrees cooler temps after this point? Some outstanding play defensively, but again, it's the offense of Alshon and Black that do the damage.
Yeah, very hectic point from all 4 players. I love the chaos out there. And really, the Franklin X40 significantly softer than the DuraFast 40. So even though we had hot mid-80s conditions and we're inside in cooler temps, the ball's still playing slower than a standard DuraFast 40 day. So I personally, I enjoy both balls. I don't think one is necessarily better than the other. They're just different. So it's important for us to continue to note that as these players are having to make the adjustments.
Allyce Jones urging her partner on, saying, come on, Jay. Right now, they are at a point of contention. Again, trying to find the advantage. You must win 3 games to pick up the match win.
Drops, lobs, and drives, doing whatever she has to do from the back of the court to put one more in play.
That was one of the best digs we've seen throughout the day. Tries to find it a second time. Jay takes a deep breath needed after that many overheads. Seen a lot of that right now, being able to attack the middle of the court.
Yeah, and Jay Devilliers really helping out Allyce Jones. Is that a speed up from Christian Alshon, looking for the player in front of him, but he found that big right hand of Jay Devilliers. Just incredible action right here on championship court. Just wanted to touch on a couple of the outer court matches. Andre Daescu and Susanna Barr, 2-1 lead over Catherine Parento and Tyson McGuffin. And Tina Pisnik and Deckel Barr, 2-1 over Paris Todd and Riley Newman.
I mean, we have seen one of the biggest upsets as Ben Johns lost in the game of singles. Tyson McGuffin was hanging on by a thread, picked up a big win to head off to the quarterfinals. And not to mention Riley Newman, he is victorious here just in the last national championships. Specifically in the game of mixed doubles, where he was paired up with Annalie Waters.
I'll tell you what, the fans right now, oohing and awing like I have never heard. Some of these mentioned the hectic and chaos points, just so fun for the fans.
Oh, I thought he just stole one.
Yeah, and Christian Alshon up to the task. Mighty Mouse Allyce Jones not been looking too frequently for offense. She tried to sneak one past him. He was ready.
As much as we've seen the weather take effect today, the good news is hopefully things are cleared up for the next few days. So you can get a chance to come hang out on our Pickleball Boulevard. Another Ernie from Christian Alshon. Just how hard is that?
Oh gosh, mixed results early in the match. Last couple have been on point. Anytime you are making contact with the ball and both your feet aren't on the ground, it is a very difficult shot.
He wasn't executing on that backhand flick. It looks like he could be now.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Sailing that ball long a variety of times in games 1 and 2. Nice combination from him to make the adjustment on the offense.
A lot of pop from Jay Devilliers. That backhand all the way to Christian Alshon's hip.
Yeah, to get that ball to the left side of Alshon, great job from Jay.
You can see just how much pressure can be added from Christian Alshon off the edge on Allyce Jones. She's trying to sit backhand, but there's just too much power on the Ernie.
Nice shot from Jay. And you can see Allyce on the previous point, really, she not only has to neutralize the offense of Christian, she has to keep it away from him on the next ball. So that is a lot of pressure for her, handling the pace and trying to get that ball cross court to Tyra Black.
Ball out of bounds, and that is pressure added from Jay Devilliers.
Yes, pressure with shot selection, pressure with pace and spin, and pressure with court positioning. All great options for these athletes.
Second time he's found one, Christian Alshon. Solid shot selection.
Yeah, better balance from them throughout games 2 and 3 to not force the ball to Allyce and occasionally go behind Jay Devilliers to keep him honest. He's such a force in the middle of the court. You must go behind him at some frequency.
Another side out. I've talked with Christian Alshon about some of the comparable sports to pickleball, and he said for him it's a lot like the game of poker, which I know you're a former pro poker player. Be curious to know your insights there.
Yes, I think that there's a ton of similarities. Being balanced in poker is so important. And what that means is not doing one thing too frequently. You have to keep your opponents on their toes. It's the same thing with pickleball. Attack here, attack there. You go to the same spot against these athletes too frequently, you will pay the price.
Allyce Jones just too good on that cross-court dink. Talk about some athleticism, Christian Alshon.
And another thing about poker is having a solid long-term strategy. Anything can happen hand-to-hand or pickleball point-to-point. You must have a sustainable long-term strategy and know that a small sample size does not mean much.
Right now, Hurricane Tyra Black is setting up her partner in Christian Alshon perfectly. The amount of times he's coming off the corner, that's because of her dink ability. Another good move, Jay Devilliers. Lateral motion so important.
Yeah, not labeled an unforced error from Tyra Black, but definitely not much different as she's leaving that ball high, and Jay knows what to do with it.
Double side out now, ball back. Jones, Devilliers. So as much as we've seen this, and you think potentially if you're new to pickleball, Jay Devilliers, where is he going? What's he doing? There's a purpose to his court positioning. It's a risk-reward analysis, right?
Yes, and top female pros have been interviewed on this subject many times, and they prefer a male player that can put maximum pressure on the female across the other side of the net. So it's not always going to work. It can't work, but the odds and the percentages are in your favor as long as you're not overextending too much in the middle of the court. And I think the balance of both fellas in the middle has been pretty solid throughout this match. If you don't get beat behind you, you're not playing properly.
That's a great anecdote right there. If you don't get beat behind you, you're probably not playing mixed doubles properly, which is very true. It's just about the number at which.
Yes, and you get beat behind you 23 times, that's an issue. But a handful of times when you're getting the reward for your risk on so many other points,
Here's the call from Allyce Jones, a bit of a frenzied point, again, testing the arm speed of Devilliers.
I mean, just so many crazy points, and the score's only changed a very little bit the last 5 minutes or so.
Because of the double side out and the level at which these pros can play, scoring points becomes so challenging. The returner has the advantage in the game of pickleball. Allyce Jones and Jay Devilliers spread it far across the court and still come up with a victory. The elation. An electric atmosphere after one of the best points we have seen here in Dallas, Texas. Just a 1-point differential. Christian Alshon finds one more, and I love this quote. This is from Christian's Instagram. He said, 15 years of tennis could not make me feel the thrill of what 5 hours of pickleball can do to you. And I think that's a perfect description of what you're seeing in this matchup.
My man.
How about that outstretched volley?
I would have had that one too, Cam.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. Unbelievable stab from him. He was in a horrible position and dug out of it.
Is that the fear of Alshon?
A bit, yes. I mean, you know that even if he is basically straddling the center line, he can still earn you the next ball. That is absolutely in the back of the mind of Allyce Jones.
Has to look down at the paddle going, what in the world? Looking for the drop volley.
Yep, high risk, high reward. Just so spectacular when it works, and a lot of pitfalls that come with it, whether it be error or bringing your opponents forward if it does not work out.
The right shot for Hurricane Tyra Black. She immediately apologizes, but recognized Allyce Jones out of position.
Yeah, caught Allyce in the midsection after he was coming over to help Jay, who went, and vice versa, Cam.
Absolutely. It's a game point opportunity for Black and Alshon. Oh, and he missed the third. A second chance here on the double side out. And it has been all Alshon in game number 3 as they walk away with the second game point in this matchup. They need just one more at the Biofreeze USA Pickleball National Championships. We head off to game number 4 next. National Championship brought to you by the USA Pickleball as well as Biofreeze, and of course powered by Invited. Game 4 begins. The lob out of bounds. Cameron Irwin alongside Adam Stone. What could this come down to?
For me, it is the offensive execution of Christian Alshon. Really struggling, especially on the backhand speed-ups early in this match. He has righted the ship and put maximum offense on Allyce Jones in front of him, especially with the backhand side. Can he continue?
Allyce with the overhead.
Oh, yeah. Everyone loves it when Mighty Mouse ends a point.
The Utah Valley University product.
Yeah, and I don't care if you're at the pro level or you're a 3-0 mixed 70 plus. A national title is a national title, Cameron, whatever division you're playing.
the epitome of defense to offense.
I mean, that's a double-digit overheads from Jay Devilliers. And then Christian Alshon covering a soft shot at his left foot and then all the way over in front of his partner to finish the point. Ooh, that's a tough break. Allyce Jones was in massive trouble after the forehand drive attempt of Christian Alshon. Just couldn't find the court after clipping the tape.
Alshon and Black have the Midas touch right now.
This is absolute insanity. I have never seen more extended defensive plays turn to offense, possibly in my pickleball career. This is high-level stuff out here.
Alshon didn't have to move.
Yeah, and a nice job by not having any backswing on that counter. He left his paddle out in front of his body. He knew the offense was coming, and he knew that the ball was coming with pace. He did not have to do much. Nice short stroke counter from Christian Alshon.
Alshon, the biggest, and Hurricane Tyra Black looking to finish out this round of 16 matchup. Allyce Jones and Jay Devilliers have got to find some of their game here.
Christian not sure that went long, but Jay and Allyce very quickly both called it out, and that's usually the right call when they both call quickly. Missed a drop from Jay Devilliers, putting them on a 2 after they get the ball back. And a nice manipulation of the wrist going inside out from Christian Alshon. Jay trying to go behind the back, couldn't come up with it.
Hurricane Tyra Black, it's been a little quiet on her right side because her partner has been just so dominant through the middle, but she is playing her role perfectly.
Yeah, great spot picking with some few and far between offense for Hurricane Tyra. Yeah, and like you mentioned, Cam, nothing that she's doing wrong not to get involved. It's Christian Alshon being a beast.
That's absolutely right. Alshon squeaking one past Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, I think she was sitting pretty heavy backhand. He found the right side of her body on the forehand side. She was not ready.
Slicing the ATP, that's the one you were talking about earlier.
Yep, and just cool, calm, and collected. Very patient from Jay Devilliers, letting that ball travel and contacting it only a couple inches off the ground.
How about that defense? Hurricane Tyra Black shifts back to the center line.
And that's really been the key these last couple games, is that offense that was getting through in game 1 for Jay is being handled better by Tyra and Christian.
Throws the paddle at it.
Yeah, and Jay was getting a lot of reward for his risk with his court positioning early on. Might be a good idea to back off a bit and let the ladies cross court dink and see if he can't pick one off. caught him in the hip. Actually got the ball back, but glancing off the clothing of Jay Devilliers.
With a 7-1 lead in this mixed doubles competition. And that's an easy way to score a point if you're Christian Alshon.
Yep, we've talked so much about unwinding the stack, partner protection. You must go behind him at some clip. And Christian Alshon right there, exactly what he needed. One more point on the board for the squad on the near end.
Hurricane with a big forehand.
Easy power. Very jealous.
Must be nice.
It must be. I wouldn't know anything about that. Oh my, that would have been something special. Couldn't come up with it. Next one.
Adam Stone turned into a play-by-play. And another good shot. Christian Alshon to the backhand side brings us to match point. Black and Alshon pick up the win in 4 games played.